So a newspaper article caught my eye today, and it was about Danny Masterson and the sentence that he received for the crimes that he was accused of and convicted of. He got 30 years to life for those crimes. And it really resonated with me because I've read Mike Rinder's book. Now, REMINI is actually suing the Church of Scientology, and word is getting about that it is highly likely that David Miscavige will have to actually appear in that court case. And again, that just sort of reverberates hope all around the ex-Scientology community, because the main person that they deem is responsible for the horror and the hurt of this cult is actually David Miscavige. Now, reports are saying that you've heard about the hole in Mike Rinder's book, and reports say that on Gold Base, which is this sort of a main base for the Church of Scientology, they said that the hole has actually been shut down now, which sort of gives you the indication that maybe David Miscavige is a little bit scared about what is about to come out and what is about to unfold. Let's hope. Anyway, now I went back and had a look at Mike Rinder's book, which you can see my full review of his book. I'll actually put that up at the end of this video. There'll be a direct link to that video if you want to see the whole review of the book, but I highly recommend it. It's so exciting and so intriguing and so heartbreaking and devastating. But if you want to know what the allegations are against the Church of Scientology, that just lays it all out from you, from someone who was in the upper echelons of Scientology for a very long time, for most of his life. He just tells it like it really is. So Mike Rinder is talking in this chapter about the fact that he's getting the Aftermath TV episodes ready with REMINI. And he was a valuable part of that team because REMINI could sort of tell the dramatic side of the story, and Mike Rinder often gave explanation of the more technical explanations of like Scientology speak, or how things sort of actually worked and unfolded. But in the process of that, they interviewed a lot of people, and they actually interviewed Danny Masterson's victims. For 3 seasons, we exposed horrendous pain and suffering inflicted on people as a result of their involvement in Scientology. Families torn apart, children victimized, women forced to have abortions, people defrauded, a literal trail of death and destruction. And for the first time, the people making the show and interviewing the victims were experts on the subject. And so they brought their experience and knowledge to shine light on how Scientology worked. Now, he goes on to tell us about interviewing the victims of Danny Masterson, those victims who have now finally, after years and years and years of Scientology trying to cover it up and trying to prevent justice, justice has been served. He says this: when we interviewed the alleged victims of, it's alleged back then because the trial hadn't taken place, the conviction hadn't been made, and the sentence hadn't been delivered. So he says alleged. When we interviewed, we can say now, the victims of Danny Masterson, for instance, we were horrified. A well-known Scientologist TV star who'd been raised in a Scientology family. Masterson was accused of raping 4 women. How they allegedly were treated by him, again the word allegedly, now we know how they were treated by him, as well as by the Scientology organization, was appalling. And their accounts seem too similar to be fabricated. Well, that has now been proven beyond all reasonable doubt that their experiences were not fabricated. We deferred to the wishes of the LA County District Attorney's Office, which was considering charges back when Mike Rinder wrote this book, and we decided not to air the episode. And then he was consequently charged in June 2020. So, justice takes time. You have to be patient. It's a slow grind, but you get there in the end. You get there in the end. Now, he goes on from that, and I just thought it would be interesting to tell you about Herbert Jentz, the president of the Church of Scientology International, who David Miscavige, Mike Rinder says, put in the hole. while he was there back in 2006, but he has remained there ever since. I presume now they've closed down the hole. The poor man is out, although he may have passed away, I'm not sure. But his niece was actually really concerned about him. And also, a Valerie Haney escaped from gold in the trunk of a car in 2017, and she reached out to Mike Rinder, and she told him that Herber was still at gold, being terribly mistreated. Now get this. She said he was forced to read scripted videos about how wonderful David Miscavige was while he was being squeezed into a makeshift wooden body brace so he could be held upright for the camera, because his physical condition had deteriorated so much that he was unable to stand straight. And from then, Mike Rinder says how they turned up at gold with his niece and tried to see and bought police and everything. But, you know, like I said, hiding behind the fact that they're the Church of Scientology, none of the authorities are prepared to, you know, impede someone's rights in the USA in order to rescue these horribly mistreated people. But it's starting to sort of turn around now, because people are realizing that although you can call yourself a church, it doesn't mean that you can abuse people under the protection of that banner. And so, like I said, justice is slowly being delivered. And I, for one, can't wait to see David Miscavige being cross-examined on the stand in a court of law. And then it'll be interesting to see if Tom Cruise actually manages to come out bravely and distance himself from the nefarious Church of Scientology and apologise for the fact that he was their poster boy for many years through the early 2000s. Maybe that would, you know, bring some healing and some resolution to some of the victims of the Church of Scientology. But I, for one, am very excited to see all this unfolding, and I will be following this story very closely and updating you when I can. Let me know what you think down below. I can't wait to hear, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye.